Something you mentioned when much earlier in the conversation that I made a mental note to get back to is you'd mentioned for a brief time you worried you might be losing your love of reading, and I thought, oh no, that must be like almost the equivalent of if you're a minister and have been for 20, 30 years, however long, and you're well established in your career, and suddenly you become an atheist. Oh no, if you lose your love of reading, what are you going to do? And I know you are a big proponent of reading at least one book for pleasure at all times while you're reading your submissions and everything else. Does working on discovering new things like picture books, like middle grade books, does that help to renew your love of reading? And where is your relationship with reading at this point?
Yeah. It's actually at a kind of hard spot. Like just this year, there's been something about like 2022 that has been hard to keep up the pleasure reading. But I think that's just because I've been so busy, or because so many of my clients kind of buckled down and like progressed in like writing new drafts or new manuscripts like during this pandemic time, that I've had a sort of steady flood of works from my writers to be reading this year. But it's I definitely think working in kids books, I mean, that's one of the things that I'm really discovering I love about it, is it does kind of reignite that kind of early passion for reading, and just, and also like the books are much shorter, so it's easier to like read middle grade or even YA, and certainly picture books for pleasure, than it is to read like all the, I know, novels and nonfiction too that I want to be reading. But I mean, I think the biggest difference for me, like that's one of the joys of having gone out on my own, because I think it was much harder when I was kind of servicing other people's clients, or like working like as a foreign rights agent and having to kind of read, I don't know, across, especially a company as big as United Agents. I only had time to read maybe one or two novels for pleasure like in a year, and I felt as soon as I got like firmly into primary agenting, and then especially when I set up on my own, that there just felt like such a, it had been years since I had really I mean, I guess on I don't know, on holidays I would always take like read maybe one book, but I really made an effort to just make the time to be reading something all through the year, and it's made me just feel so much, I guess, sharper, and just have that sense that my love of reading has, that I've returned to it like from almost like before the time when I first got into the business. And I mean, I think that's something everyone in publishing kind of struggles with the most, is we all kind of grew up like loving reading. That's why we have these careers. But then, to be working in an area where you're required to read so much, and pretty much, and after hour, like that's part of the issue with like burnout with sort of people in more on the publishing side than the agency side, I think. But it's not like editors are able to be like reading kind of at their desks or like during most working days, it's what you have to fit in like after hours or on weekends. And but I feel like I have, I guess, a bit more flexibility about I mean, my clients' work comes first, but then yeah, there's always something. And especially over the summer, I guess that's when I kind of spend a lot more time reading than other times of the year.